I was reading someone's website yesterday, and I don't mean I was browsing, I mean I was studying it. And here's what I found: they used the word we 47 times in one page. 47. We do this, we specialized in that, our team has experience, we've held over, blah blah blah. We. And I just sat there staring at my screen thinking, who the fuck are you hiding from? Because let's be honest with each other. And I mean honest. Not the kind of honest you do at networking events where you're just trying to find clients. When you say we, what you're actually saying is, I'm not confident enough to stand alone. I want to share the blame if this goes wrong. I want a collective pronoun to hide behind, like a child hiding behind their mother's skirt. And you know what worse? The buyers, the real ones, the ones with actual monies who have built actual things, they see right through it. They see we and they think, okay, so who actually makes decision here? Who's accountable? Who do I call at 2 a.m. when something breaks? And you don't have an answer because you have built your entire positioning around avoiding that question. Here's the structural truth that nobody in the agency space wants to tell you. Buyers don't buy we, they buy I. They buy a single throat to choke, a single person who will answer when things go sideways, a single point of failure which is in their mind is actually a single point of accountability. Think about it. You're a founder, you built something, you burned cash, you fired people, you made decisions that cost you sleep, and now you're gonna hand your business to a V? Or are you gonna hand it to a person who says, I will handle this, I'm responsible. If this fails, come find me. Not my team, not my specialist, me. Of course, it's the second one because you're not an idiot. But here's the thing that's eating me alive right now. Most agency owners, and I'm using that term generously, are running around acting like they're building empires when they're just assembling committees. They think we sounds bigger. They think we sounds more established. They think we makes them look like they have a team of ninjas waiting in the wings. It doesn't. It sounds like you're scared. Let me tell you a story. I was on a call last week with a high ticket prospect. We are going through the process. He's asking me about how Swarigio works, the structure, the deliverables, all of it. And then he asks me a question that stopped me cold. He said, Vishal, I've looked at your website. I see you talk about we a few times, but I need to know who is actually going to do the work, who is actually going to be in the room, who's actually going to be responsible. And I realized in that moment he didn't wanted a team, he wanted a person. Not because he doesn't value teamwork, not because he doesn't understand that complex work requires multiple perspectives, but because he's been burned before. He's hired agencies that promised the world and delivered with a team of junior employees who had no idea what they were doing. He's paid for we and gotten nothing. So I told him, it's me. I'll be the architect. I will do the work. My team supports me, but the accountability stops with me. If you're unhappy, you don't yell at my team, you yell at me. He signed the deal the next day, not because I said the right things, not because my proposal was better than everyone else's, because I was the only person who said I instead of we. And this is where I get angry because I see so many of you out here, founders, agency owners, consultants, and you're all doing the same thing. You're hiding. And you think it makes you look bigger. But it just makes you look cowardly. And your buyers know it. Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually think about this. Don't just nod and move on. Who are you hiding from? Are you hiding from your competitors? Because here's the thing. Your competitors are always saying we. They're also hiding. They're also terrified of being the single point of accountability. So if you say I, you immediately separate yourself from 90% of the market. Are you hiding from clients? Because if you're afraid to be the person they call when the things go wrong, you shouldn't be in the business. Full stop. If you can't handle accountability, go get a job. Go work for someone else. Let them carry the weight. Are you hiding from yourself? This is the one reality that stinks because I've seen it over and over. You say we because if you say I, you have to admit that this whole thing, this business, this structure, this empire you're trying to build rests entirely on you. And that's terrifying because what if I can't do it? What if you fail? What if you're not enough? So you say we to dilute the risk, to share the burden, to pretend you're not alone. But here's the structural truth that nobody wants to tell you. You are alone. Not in the sense that you don't have support, not in the sense that you don't have team around you, but in the sense that the final decision, the one that matters, the one that science checks and makes things happen, that's on you. And your bias knows it. They know at the end of the day, it's you who decides, it's you who commits, it's you who executes. So why are you pretending otherwise? I'll tell you why. Because the industry, this whole miserable, soulless industry of agencies and consultants and service providers has taught you to to do it. They taught you that we sounds professional. They taught you that our team shows capacity. They taught you that sharing credit is the right thing to do. But it's all bullshit. It's corporate noise. It's the language of people who have never held risk in their hands. People who never signed a payroll. People who have never had to look an employee in the eye and tell them they're being let go. Those people say we because we is safe. But you're not those people. You're a builder, an architect, someone who creates things from nothing. So why are you talking like them? Here's what I want you to do, and I mean today, not next week, not when you rebrand, not when you have time, right now. Open your website, open your LinkedIn, open your proposals, and find every single we you have written. Read them out loud, but replace we with I. Feel the difference. Because I promise you, your buyers feel it too. And here's the thing, I'm not telling you to stop having team. I'm not telling you to do everything yourself. I'm telling you to stop hiding behind them. When you say I, you're not saying I do everything. You're saying I take responsibility. You're saying I'm the final decision. You're saying I own this. And that's what high ticket buyers are actually paying for. Not your team, not your process, not your methodology. They're paying for accountability. They're paying for the peace of mind that comes from knowing that when something goes wrong, and it will, because things always go wrong, there's someone who will fix it. Not a committee, not a ticketing system, not a junior account manager who has to escalate to their supervisor, who has to talk to the project lead, who has to check with the delivery team. You, just you. And here's the part that blows my mind. Most of you reading this, you're actually good at what you do. You build real things. You have real expertise. You have solved real problems. But you've been taught to diminish yourself, to make yourself seem smaller, to hide your individual competence behind team language. And it's costing you millions, not because your work isn't good, but because your messaging is cowardly. Let me give you an example. I worked with a client, he ran a boutique consulting firm, but he had a problem. His messaging was pure we. We help organizations achieve transformation. Our team of experts we've partnered with, and he couldn't figure out why high ticket prospects are going with his competitors instead of him. So I asked him, who actually does the work? He said, well, I do, but I have a team that supports me. I said, then why do you hide behind them? He didn't have an answer. So we rewrote everything, every single piece of copy, every proposal, every LinkedIn post. We replaced every we with I. And here's what happened. His conversion rate doubled, his average deal size tripled, and he started attracting clients who wanted him, not his company. Because he wasn't hiding anymore, and his buyers could finally see who they were actually buying from. Now, I can already hear some of you, but Vishal, I have a team. I'm not doing everything myself. Isn't it dishonest to say I when I have a team? Listen to me carefully. Your team doesn't sign the checks. Your team doesn't make the final decision. Your team doesn't own the liability. You do. So when you say I, you are not claiming to do everything yourself. You're claiming ownership. You're claiming accountability. You're claiming responsibility. And that's the only thing high ticket buyers actually care about. They don't care about your methodology. They don't care about your proprietary process. They don't care about your team of specialists. They care about whether they can trust you to deliver. And trust doesn't come from we. Trust comes from I. I'll tell you another story. I had a conversation with a founder a few months ago. He's looking for help. He needs someone who can fix it. And he tells me I've talked to 3 agencies. They all said the same thing. We can handle this. We have a team. We specialized in this type of work. Then he looked at me and says, but I don't want a team. I want a person who will own the outcome. I said, good. Because that's what I do. He signed the deal. Not because I was cheaper. Not because I promised more. But because I was the only person who didn't hide behind a pronoun. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Your buyers are tired of we. They're tired of agencies that promise the world and deliver with a team of junior employees. They're tired of hiding behind our team when things go wrong. They want someone who will say, I will fix this. I'm responsible. You can hold me accountable. And if you can't be that person, then you shouldn't be in business. Because the market is already moving past we. The buyers who matter. The ones with actual capital, actual business, actual skin in the game. They can smell the cowardice. They can hear the hesitation. They can feel the fear. And they will choose someone who doesn't have that fear. Someone who stands alone. Someone who says I. Now I want to get specific with you. I'm going to break down exactly what happens when you say we and exactly what happens when you say say I. Because I want you to feel the difference, not just intellectually, emotionally. When you say we, you sound like everyone else. You dilute your authority. You create distance between you and your buyer. You signal that you are afraid of accountability. You give your buyer a reason to question who is actually in charge. You make it harder for your buyer to trust you. You reduce your perceived value. You make yourself replaceable. You say I. When you say I, you sound like a leader. You claim your authority. You create intimacy with your buyer. You signal that you're comfortable with accountability. You show your buyer exactly who's in charge. You make it easier for your buyer to trust you. You increase your perceived value. You make yourself irreplaceable. See the difference? It's not subtle, and yet so many of you are still saying we. I'll tell you why. Because you're scared. You're scared that if you say I, people will expect you to be perfect. You're scared that if you say I, you can't blame everyone else when things go wrong. You're scared if you say I, you'll be exposed as not having all the answers. But here's the thing. Your buyers don't expect you to be perfect. They expect you to be accountable. That's the difference. An imperfect I is more valuable than perfect we. Because a perfect we is a lie. It's a fiction. It's something you create to make yourself feel safe. But an imperfect I is reality. It's truth. It's something your buyers can actually trust. Because trust doesn't come from perfection. Trust comes from honesty, from ownership, from accountability. And you can't have all those things if you're hiding behind we. So let me ask you again, who are you hiding from? Because the person you're hiding from isn't your competitors. It's not your buyers. It's you. You're hiding from your own potential, from your own authority, from your own competence. And it's costing you everything. Now, I want to give you something practical, something you can actually use. Here's what I want you to do. Today, right now, before you do anything else. Step 1. Go through your entire website, every page, every piece of copy. Find every single we. Step 2. Read each sentence out loud. Replace we with I. Feel how different it sounds. How much more powerful. How much more direct. Step 3. Ask yourself this question for every single we you find. Is it actually true or am I hiding? If it's true, if you're actually the person doing the work, making the decision, owning the outcome, replace it with I. If it's not you, if you're actually just a manager, a coordinator, someone who delegates and oversees, then you have bigger problem than your copy. Because if you can't honestly say I about your work, you're not actually the expert you're pretending to be. And your buyers already know it. I'm not telling you to lie, I'm telling you to stop hiding. If you're not the person doing the work, if you're not the person who can be held accountable, if you're not the person who owns the outcome, then you need to either change your position or change your messaging. Because we isn't fooling anyone, and it's definitely not fooling your buyers. Here's another thing. When you say we, you're also signaling that you're replaceable. Think about it. If your buyer thinks they're buying from we, from a team, from a company, from a collective, they can always find another we. There are thousands of agencies out there saying we, thousands of teams offering the same service, thousands of companies promising the same results. But there's only one you. Only one person with your specific experience, your specific expertise, your specific perspective. And when you say I, you're claiming that uniqueness. You're telling your buyers you can't get this from anyone else. Because I'm not a team. I'm not a company, I'm a person. And people buy from people, not from companies, not from teams, not from we, from people. It's not complicated. But it does require something that most founders aren't willing to do. It requires courage. It requires you to stand alone, to be the single point of accountability. To say, if this fails, it's on me, not my team, not my company, me. And that's terrifying. Because what if you fail? What if you're not enough? What if your buyer realizes you don't have all the answers? Here's what I know. You will fail. Not everything you do will work. Not every decision you make will be right. You will disappoint people. You will make mistakes. You will have to deliver bad news. And when that happens, you will have to be the one who handles it. Not a team, not a committee, you. And if you can't handle that, if you're not willing to take that responsibility, then you're in the wrong business. Because that's what high ticket buyers are paying for. They're paying for someone who can handle the responsibility, someone who can make decisions, someone who can own outcomes, someone who can handle failure, someone who isn't hiding. And that person says I. So let me ask you again, who are you hiding from? Because I don't think it's your competitors. I don't think it's your buyers. I think it's you. And I think you're tired of hiding. I think you're tired of diluting yourself, tired of making yourself smaller, tired of pretending you're not the one holding everything together. I think you want to claim your authority, but you're scared. And that's okay. Being scared is normal, but staying scared is choice. And you can choose differently. You can choose to say I. You can choose to claim your authority. You can choose to stand alone. You can choose to be accountable. And when you do, everything changes. Your buyers treat you differently. Your pricing changes. Your confidence shifts. Because you're no longer hiding, you're leading. And that's what high ticket buyers actually buying. Not your team, not your methodology, not your process, your leadership, your willingness to stand alone, your courage to say I. So here's my challenge for you. Go rewrite everything. Every page of your website, every proposal, every LinkedIn post, every outreach email. Replace every V with I. And then see what happens. See how it feels. See how your buyers respond. And then keep doing it until you're no longer hiding, until you're standing alone, claiming your authority, owning your outcome, being the person that buyers actually want to buy from. Because they're out there right now looking for someone like you. Someone who will say, I will fix this. Someone who will be accountable. Someone who isn't hiding. Someone who stands alone, and that someone is you. Because that's what high ticket buyers are paying for. Not a team, not a company, not we, you.